is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Telecom Reseller, and this is part of an ongoing series with CallTower on Microsoft Teams. And today I'm with William Rubio, who's the Revenue Officer for CallTower. William, thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thank you, Doug. I appreciate being on, and thank you for all the listeners out there. I always love getting on with you and talking about some of my favorite subjects.
I think one of our favorite subjects these days is Microsoft Teams. And, we have so many readers who are maybe currently using it, thinking about using it, expanding its use, or sitting on the sidelines saying, maybe I should migrate there and what would be involved. So this series has picked up a lot of interest. So I want to thank you for volunteering your time and having us talk to you.
Sure, no, happy to be here, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Microsoft has really come onto the main stage as far as unified communications, especially around voice, which was kind of one of the main items, one of the main applications, we should say, that they were really kind of missing over the past several years, and it was a pretty good attempt with Link when they had Microsoft Link, and that went from Link 2010 to 2013. Then it became Skype for Business, and that really took off. And now Microsoft Teams has just really kind of dominated the marketplace. It's really been a disruptor, right? It's probably the best way I could say it. Doug, some of the stats out there that we've seen, which are just phenomenal, and these are maybe about a couple of months old, but there's over 250 million Office 365 users currently right now with Microsoft. There's about 115 million using Microsoft Teams. So a substantial amount. Their fastest growing application ever. In February alone, so February of 2021, there was an added amount of about 873 added integration applications into the Microsoft Teams platform. So just crazy overall. And in November of 2020, so this is about 6 months old, there was over 2 million Android downloads on mobile devices of Microsoft Teams, and on average, the daily average users on mobile is about 60 million on Microsoft Teams. So I mean, those are just stats that I try to keep a monitor on and keep a pace on, because it really just tells us kind of what's going on out there. But it's just incredible to actually see the growth and the adoption, not just in the U.S. but pretty much globally, of Microsoft Teams and voice with Microsoft Teams.
It certainly is. It's funny. It's almost a 20-year project from the time I first heard about Microsoft, looking at what was then the PBX market, to suddenly this explosion of use. And maybe you can give us a sort of broad, just to begin with, an understanding of, why can't I just go get Microsoft? Why do we have these different approaches to Microsoft Teams?
Sure. Well, I think there's a misconception sometimes with companies that Microsoft really has two sides of their business, right? They have their consumer market, which is where the Xbox and some of the Microsoft Office products like Word and Excel and so forth for the consumer user, and then they have the business application, which obviously incorporates some of the consumer applications, but when you're really looking more on the business side of it, Microsoft is not really set up to be a true B2B business partner. That's not really their forte. 92% of the revenue that Microsoft gets on a monthly basis comes in from value-added resellers, from VARs and partners, a lot of times referred to MSPs or CSPs. There's a lot of different abbreviations out there for them depending on where you sit within Microsoft, but that's really where they get their revenue. And they do like that buffer between them and the end user, because the way that they look at it, and from their business viewpoint, is that they could provide kind of the engine of the car, but you're going to let those partners, those value-added resellers, that whole category of group, thousands and thousands of them out there, that kind of put their own spin on the Microsoft core platform to really customize it to the requirements of any organization that's currently out there. And I think that some customers, again, have that misconception that it's just easier to go to Microsoft, that they're going to get better pricing or they're going to get more feedback from Microsoft, and it's anything but, right? I mean, they're not going to get support for the most part. They're going to have to talk to support that's basically just somebody taking your name and number and just trying to work with you from the bottom up. Because again, that's not the way Microsoft was built. It was really built to have that buffer in between them and the end user to really provide that value-added service so that when you want support, you're not calling Microsoft, you're calling your added value partner and really working with them because they're the ones that know what they deployed in the design that you have behind the system. So I think that that's really something that a lot of customers are getting educated on, and that's where CallTower really fits. You know, we fit in there with the fact that we are Microsoft's largest voice partner on Microsoft Teams, not just on the commercial side, which a lot of organizations fall into, but also on the what they call the Government Commercial Cloud High, referred to as GCC High, which is really third-party contractors that work with the Department of Defense. So you want to make sure that you're partnering up with somebody that knows the Microsoft ecosystem, that could leverage the different tools and productivity suite of products that Microsoft has to really make sure that you can continue to grow your business and be more effective and productive in your own ecospace.
So we have Microsoft Direct, native Microsoft Teams, and we also have third-party integrators. So can you help us understand what the differences are between these?
Sure, no, absolutely. You know, it's kind of funny because there's a big education going on right now, right, with that, because everybody's saying, well, we can provide voice on Microsoft Teams, we could do this for you. Come to us, it's all the same thing, and it really isn't all the same thing, right? You got to really get under the hood and make sure you understand, you know, what it is that you're looking for. All different solutions, whether it's direct with Microsoft, whether it's a native direct routing partner like CallTower or a third-party integrator, they're all good services. It just really depends on what's the best for your business. Now, the first one, which is direct with Microsoft, means that you would call into Microsoft or you would just go onto the website, probably go onto their website because you're not going to get anybody live there. But you go ahead and go into the website, you start signing up your services, and then you can actually move your telephone system into Microsoft Teams. With that, which is not a bad thing, it's really more of a do-it-yourself type of project, meaning that you have to submit your telephone numbers to port over into Microsoft Teams. There's no training. If you want physical devices, whether it's headsets or handsets or conference room devices, you have to go out there and procure them yourself with one of our partners, like a Poly or like Yealink devices, which are pretty much the bigger manufacturers within Microsoft Teams. There's no device support. There's no 24/7 support. You have to worry about your network. You have to worry about doing the testing on the back end. If you want to set up failover for redundancy and business continuity, you have to do it yourself. So some organizations like to do that. They like to have that control, and they have, most times, those are the organizations that have the resources to do it. The other part of it is that it is a little bit more expensive than the other two options because you're going straight to Microsoft. They're going to give you what they call their calling plans. And their calling plans, depending on if you're a small to medium business, which they their break even is about 300 users. So anybody below 300 users, you are considered a small business to Microsoft. And then anything above, you could go more on their enterprise side. So it's a big spectrum there overall when you're on the enterprise side. But in both cases, they're going to give you a calling plan. And the calling plan is going to range anywhere from $8 to $20. From $8 to $24, depending on what you need for domestic and international. And it gets a little pricey, but again, it's kind of more do it yourself. When you're looking at a native direct routing partner like CallTower, the differences there is that you're going to get a lot more hands-on support, right? So you're going to get porting. You know, we're going to have a project management team kind of give you that white glove implementation. So you have a solution architect, you have a tier 2 engineer, you also have your project manager, a backup project manager, you have an account manager afterwards that's going to work with you that understands the design of what's being implemented. We include training. We do also give you that 24/7 support, so you can actually physically talk to a human when needed. And we also give you multiple different options for failover in case there happens to be any interruption of service within Microsoft Teams. And the key to this is that we are using the full Microsoft PBX stack, just like you would if you were in a direct agreement with Microsoft. So you're leveraging everything that you have by going direct, but now you're picking up all the benefits on the back end of going with somebody like CallTower. In addition to that, since we also have a Metaswitch, so Metaswitch, which is not too common of a name out there, but Metaswitch is a VoIP switch that's out there. They were actually acquired by Microsoft in May of 2020. And just ironically enough, I mean, it just strengthened our partnership with them. But we were a Metaswitch partner for about the past 5 or 6 years. And what we're able to do is we're able to leverage the Metaswitch to bring in or fill in those gaps that the Microsoft core offering doesn't give you. For example, if a customer wants paging, if a customer wants a door buzzer, if a customer needs faxing, credit card machines, CRM integration, contact center, these are things that just Microsoft does not provide. And CallTower, what we do is, again, being that value-added partner with Microsoft, we accommodate our customers by really providing a full turnkey solution within the Microsoft design. And with the expertise that we have behind the scenes as well, we're going to make sure to put you into the right calling plans with CallTower, which are redundant. So it's actually more redundant than the core direct with Microsoft, and give you that flexibility of making sure that we have those failover options in case of any type of interruptions. And then the third option is really kind of what we said, the third-party integration. So, I mean, right there, that should kind of give you a red flag, right? Third-party integrations. And what some of these organizations have done, which, again, it's not a bad solution, just depends on what you feel more comfortable with, is that they've gone ahead and they've put in an integrator. So you kind of have a go-between that connects whatever phone provider is out there. It connects into this integration platform and then connects to Microsoft Teams. So you have a third party in between your PBX and the Microsoft Teams application, which obviously, number one, it just adds an additional layer of risk, right? Because the more integrations, the more hops you have, the more that can go wrong on a system, right? It's always the shortest point between two locations is a straight line, right? So you have somebody now in between. In addition to having somebody in between, there is an additional cost factor because you have to pay for that integration, plus you're still paying the voice license with that PBX vendor, with that competitor that's out there, and then you're still connecting to Teams. The other thing, too, is that since it isn't native, it requires the IT staff to actually log into a different administrative portal to make moves, adds, or changes. So when one of these companies tells you, oh, your voicemails, your auto attendants, your hunt groups, or as Microsoft calls it, your call queues, those are in a different portal. So log in here under my portal and make those changes. It is not needed, meaning that you have something in between you connecting direct to Microsoft, and that should throw a red flag to any customer out there. The other part is from a compliance standpoint, when you're looking at HIPAA, PCI, even some of the government compliance regulations that are out there, when you have that third party in between, you should make sure that that third party is compliant, because if not, you as a customer are not going to be compliant. So more cost, logging into a different portal, have to worry about security, another go-between in there from a risk standpoint. It does give you some flexibility that at the same time you could probably bring any phone device, so you don't have to stick to the Microsoft certified ones. You could bring in multiple different devices. But again, if you feel comfortable with it, then it might be the right design. And the last part of that, Doug, too, is that these organizations are usually not a direct partner with Microsoft, not like CallTower, that we are a gold partner with Microsoft in multiple different competencies. So that expertise of how to work with teams and leverage the entire Microsoft stack are just not going to be there. And you do have to then work with another vendor. So all three designs work. All three designs have its pluses and limitations overall. But obviously, we're a big Microsoft partner, been like that for the past 13 years. And we're going to continue to stick with it because we just like that expertise, and it's a really great solution.
So it does look like there are a lot of options, and that definitely people need to study them. And as you've been saying, find the right solution for your company. Is there anything more that we should understand about the CallTower approach?
Yeah, I think with the call tower approach, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting that true dedicated solution with Microsoft with no go-between, and at the same time, you're picking up the support, the additional features and products that we could add into the Microsoft Teams solution. There's no equipment that's required. We port the numbers. You get the 24/7 support. You get the training, and then you get all those ancillary services that you're just not going to get with Microsoft, or in some cases even some of these third parties. I mean, to the point that even Microsoft and CallTower have such a great partnership that we've been working with Microsoft since November of 2019 to actually be the exclusive provider within their government commercial cloud. So what that means is that if you are a third-party government contractor and you want to work with the Department of Defense, which there's thousands upon thousands of organizations out there, small, medium, and large. I mean, we're working with some organizations that have 20, 30, 40,000 employees, and they want to communicate to the Department of Defense. They are moving over to the government commercial cloud within Microsoft Teams, which is predominantly the same thing feature set, but it's just on a different tenant in Azure than the commercial cloud. And when you want voice on that government commercial cloud tenant, Microsoft can't even give it to you because of the compliance issues, but CallTower is certified by Microsoft to actually provide that, and we've been providing it for roughly about 18 months right now because it's a new product to our customers, and we've easily put on over 1,000 customers, probably close to, if I had to guess, probably 80 or 90,000 users that we've actually put onto that platform, and it works very well. But again, we're here to provide that as well. So Microsoft entrusts us to be their sole provider within that ecosystem because of the experience and because of the relationship back and forth. And it's a tribute to our back-end engineering team and our network team and our support team, and also to the partnership with Microsoft, that they do recognize us as a voice leader within Microsoft Teams. And it just really strengthens the partnership overall. So just happy to be a partner like that with Microsoft, and really here to provide a solution to customers and not really force you into a product. But when you're looking at Microsoft Teams and you do happen to have those additional products and features that you do need, then CallTower is obviously the right partner to partner with.
William, I want to thank you for giving us an interesting overview of this topic today. It was very succinct, and it was very interesting to understand these three approaches a lot better and to understand what you guys at CallTower are doing as well. Where can we learn more?
Well, you could actually just go to webinar. You could email us at either webinars@calltower.com. You could also just go ahead and go to our website, which is calltower.com. We have information there that you could get in touch with our solution architects and our sales teams and our consultants, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions. There's obviously no obligation. We're here to just make sure that we educate our customers the right way, and if we are a good fit, great. We would love to earn your business. And at the same time, though, we just want to make sure that you're educated correctly so that you make the right decision for your organization.
William, we look forward to the next one.
Thank you, Doug. Likewise. Thanks again.